So we will talk about the types of documentaries that exist. So the first mode is the poetic mode. And this is a documentary that's considered, like Mansi asked a question about, like the documentary is making some sort of, like a deep point or some sort of subjective interpretation. This actually is pretty much that. Poetic, as the name suggests, is something that flows like poetry. When you see that film, you think that, oh my god, this is like visual poetry that I'm seeing right now. You show a penguin, but or you show some sort of an animal struggling to breathe and someone in the hospital struggling to breathe. That becomes a poetic representation of it. Yeah, so instead of using traditional linear continuity to create a story, the documentary filmmaker arranges shots in an order to evoke some sort of an emotion or association through tone, rhythm, spatial juxtaposition. These are just fancy terms to just say the same thing that I just said. Expository form of documentary is the kind of documentary that you see on Nat Geo. So everything that you see on made on a particular historical event, made on a particular animal kingdom, made on any sort of species, that is considered an expository film. Expository film observes and addresses the viewer directly. And it's also one of the most key elements of an expository film is something called the voice of God narration, which is that you will be watching a film. So like how Nat Geo films go is essentially that you're watching a film about tigers and there will be a narration in the background. There will be someone who's telling you that what is it that they're doing, what is it that happens, how is it that the tiger hunts its prey, and how he eats it or whatever it is. So those kind of narrations that take place is essentially an expository documentary. But essentially all the sense that you will make out of that film is completely guided by the person who is talking. The next form is participatory. So the participatory form of documentary is a research approach to documentary filmmaking. This is the filmmaking that is considered one of the most ethical ways of showing a documentary film, where a filmmaker becomes a researcher. So say you are wanting to make a film on Bombay's biggest slum, Dharavi. Okay, the way you will do it is that you'll become a researcher. You'll go there, you'll scout the whole location, you'll understand what kind of people live there, you'll interact with those people, and you'll participate in their lives. So in a participatory documentary, essentially what you do is that you go into a place and you talk to those people and then you reflect on that experience. Reflexive documentary. So reflexive documentary is like you're reflecting on a particular process. So it is about the filmmaker is directly talking to the audience. The difference between performative and reflexive is that even though Michael Moore is coming on his this thing on the film, he is not exactly showing what is it that like the process of him going through or whatever. Reflexive can be performative, reflexive can also not be performative. Reflexive is generally behind the scenes style footage, like I mentioned earlier, that it could be either just that just you're showing a behind the scenes footage of it, the entire film process that you're showing it, the interviews, all of it, and it is the filmmaker talking to the audience and reflecting on something.